Einen wunderschönen guten Morgen nach Österreich und einen schönen guten Nachmittag hier aus New Delhi. Mein Name ist Bernd Andersson und es freut mich sehr, dass ich Sie heute zu unserem Webinar The Future of Food Tech in India begrüßen darf. Da viele unserer Expertinnen und Experten lokal sind, werden wir das Webinar auf Englisch durchführen. Daher darf ich Sie nun auch auf Englisch einführen. Good morning to Austria, good afternoon from New Delhi. My name is Bernd Andersson. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to today's webinar on the topic of the future of food tech in India. If we could go to the next slide, I'm just going to give you a brief overview of what we're going to discuss today. My colleague Ajay will help later on. Ajay, just so you know, we see a pop-up window on the screen, so if you can remove that. So after a quick introduction, we're gonna go directly into the presentations. We have several very interesting experts here today, and this will be followed by a Q&A. Speaking of Q&A, you're always very welcome to ask your questions in the chat or in the dedicated question box. We'll try to answer them during the webinar, but potentially we'll also answer them afterwards or connect you with the relevant experts. And then we should be done in about an hour's time, and you would be free to spend the rest of the day as you wish. Just as a brief introduction for the people who are not, who may not already know, so the Außenwirtschaft Austria operates under the name of Advantage Austria here in India and all around the world. Our office in New Delhi is not only responsible for the whole of India, but also for Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and the Maldives. And our main purpose and job is to support Austrian businesses in any way or form to do business in this area. We have our office here in New Delhi, as said. We also have an office in Mumbai. Currently, we used to have one in Bangalore, which is not occupied at the moment, but will restart soon. We work together with experts in the other local markets. So without further ado, let me introduce you to our moderator today, our dedicated expert on startups, innovation, new technologies, Ajay Singh. Please take us through the webinar.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Bernd. Good morning for the audience in Austria, and a warm good afternoon to the ones joining from India. Thank you for joining this webinar, The Future of Food Tech in India, and we will learn about the new technologies and trends. My name is Ajay Singh, and I'm the Senior Advisor to the Commercial Counsellor here. I take care of startups, corporate, science, technology, and innovation. Today, we will discuss the future and food tech of multiple technologies from agri-tech, from robotics, and from corporates who are making it possible to have the market for the Austrian companies in India. I would like to call upon Mr. Anand, Director Technology and Innovation, Suhana Spices, Food and Beverage Manufacturing, to make his keynote on food tech innovation in the spice industry. Over to you, Mr. Anand.
Good morning to everyone in Austria, and good afternoon to everyone from India. Namaste. I'm going to share a few views on how the food technology, food science is trending in India. We can move to the next slide. So before I begin, I just want to share that what are the demand drivers. There is some inspiration, right, to innovation. Some needs will lead to some innovations, and what are those needs which are there in India? Primarily, there has been a great increase in purchase power of consumers, which is more aware about what they want to eat. They are ready to spend more on the right quality of food. There is a lot of requirement of nutritional foods, which is getting day by day influenced to buy the kind of food they want to have. Proteins, high protein food is becoming one of the trendsetter in Indian market and global market, if you see at large. And Indian millennial crowd, the youth in India, are becoming very sensitive to health and well-being. See, this whole well-being is becoming a big industry, and that is allowing people to choose what food and a lifestyle they want to really adopt. So there are aspects like the demographic we are in, geographic, psychographic, and behavioral. These are the main aspects where the market segmentation have happened in India, and also in globally I am seeing the same. Next slide please. And this is what allowed industry to innovate, or industry players like us to think that what as an Indian food industry we should be supplying, creating for India and global food market. For example, in food ecosystem, if you see, right from the APMC markets, which were earlier in existence, now these farm producing organizations and farm producing companies are playing very vital role for organized raw material supply, which is traceable and also which has a controlled residue free farming concept which people are using. In food ecosystem, right from raw material farmer to food processors, manufacturers, in that lot of startups are mushrooming all around India. Food equipment manufacturers being a very important part, where food engineering plays a vital role in processing equipments. Food packaging material suppliers, manufacturers. In supply chain logistics, cold storage is becoming one very important aspect of Indian food ecosystem. Retailer distributor network, along with that, and the entire e-commerce segmentation, which is also growing very fast in India. What it is allowing India to be, basically it is allowing India to become a good global food supplier than being reliant only on the large world's largest food domestic market. For example, government also has been very proactive on promoting agri and food industries in India. Ministry of Food Processing has a PLI scheme, agro food cluster schemes, mega food park scheme, and many other schemes, especially also designed for the millets. This year some schemes have come up, are promoted. 10 years back we hardly would have 20-25 food technology, food science institute. Today we have more than 300 food technology and science institutes, colleges flourishing in India, and it is one of the most favored program of students. See where India can play very vital role. We have huge biodiversity and abundance raw material. Now grown also chemical free, natural farming is becoming a trend in farming in India. And food processing, food technology will play a vital role, in which always we talk about processing machinery, but equally there has been huge advancement, and it's really important when we talk about food exports from India to global market or even domestic, how the food packaging is looked at. Not only from the aesthetic perspective, but technological advancements, scientific advancements in packaging material machines has allowed companies to scale up the production to a very higher extent. There are two advantages for India. One is branded value-added products like what we do as Suhana and Praveen products, exporting to more than 60 countries. But more important also, as a bulk ingredient suppliers for globe, India will play a very vital role in coming decade. Yeah. So in food processing and packaging machinery, for example, there is very advanced cleaning, sorting machines now available, manufactured in India. Many international companies, many Austrian companies representing such technologies in India. We have great grinders, pulverizers, mixers, blenders, homogenizers, and it's a vast sector, food industry, right from a dairy sector, meat, poultry sector, grains, pulses, atta sectors, pickles, Indian traditional food, to mithai and snack food sector. It's a very vast scope in India for all these equipment to be used, and they are flourishing. These engineering companies are flourishing. In recent trend, freeze dryers, great controlled atmosphere cooking systems from world over companies are participating in India. They have established their offices, their trade offices in India, and there is a very big requirement and big implementation of these technologies happening. Conveying systems, for example, which has sensor-based technologies on counting, weigh checking, metal detectors, X-ray machines, everything conveyorized lines are getting built in India, and we as users do see large advantage to become far more quality producers of food, and that's what is changing the Indian food industry scenario for the global business. Next one, please. So emerging trends in industry, if you see, because the trends are changing the technological needs and customer is changing the trends. So if we see that, as I said, nutraceuticals, health foods, functional foods is a big thing in India now and for global market. And with our biodiversity, as I mentioned, we have huge opportunities to work with herbs, other food ingredients which have large medicinal and functional values. E-commerce is making a big difference to the global food trade now. Alternate proteins, vegan proteins is something very important, and India is playing very big role in supplying vegan proteins to global market. The ingredients and also the granules or extruded products. See, extrusion is also one such technology getting developed in India very fast, and we have a lot of extruded products now available in India. There are heat extruders and non-heat extruders, both are available in India and working very well. We have 3D food printing, which is still its own startup phase right now, but may grow in future. Yes, there is a lot of work which is happening on food safety and food traceability and transparency in quality. When we talk about being a strong global suppliers and also within India, FSSAI becoming very strong, sensor-based traceability technologies are emerging very fast. Blockchain in food traceability, ingredient traceability is developing very fast. So that's where actually the India overall is heading with technology, and food industry is implementing all these technologies to develop its own products and credibility in the market. Next. Now you see, as I said, the consumers driving the change. Convenience food is the new mantra for Indian traditional food. And in that, ready to eat foods, retort foods, frozen foods, ready to cook spice mixes, ready to serve food, which is packed with modified atmosphere packaging and served. Cuppa, where you just add hot water. Earlier you would see only noodles in this category globally, but so many Indian traditional products like Cuppa, Kanda Poha, onion poha, which is a breakfast item in India, very healthy breakfast item served in global markets now, including our brand doing work in Cuppa products. And it's a special dehydration cooking technology which is used, very much customized, and that kind of value addition in technology has happened in instant mixes, for example, is growing. So overall trend, if you see, it's more about wholesome, healthy, natural food, which is largely for youth, if you ask me, is high protein, is what youth wants to work on and eat. Now, fortification is new mantra. So a lot of fortification in food is happening, and that's what is trending in Indian food products, and that's what the trending change is. Next one. So what actually the innovation and advances is doing to our industry largely? We are better and improved food safety offered through Indian products now. Smart warehousing, where entire warehousing is IoT and AI based. Overall efficiency of production. Earlier, Kaizen, Six Sigma, TPM, TQM, such manufacturing practices would be used only by largely by large automobile companies, but now Indian manufacturing companies are implementing these manufacturing excellence technologies to scale up overall efficiency, reducing the production cost, and become far more efficient global suppliers. Sorting packets and products, for example, sensor-based sorter machines have come. If you can go back, sir, once again. There conveyorized solutions and sensor-based solutions have come, where the packets which are not following the standards will be sorted or removed automatically. That is allowing zero defect manufacturing in food industry, which was never the case earlier. And monitoring overall business processes by ERP, streamlining supply chain, and finally, right labeling, which is coming in place globally and in India, which is helping customers to do the right decision making to buy the right product. Next one. How I see the future, it's my last slide. In almost every field, what I am seeing is that the information and data commoditization is happening and will make bigger difference to industry. And due to digitization and the shifts, mainly use of technology, which is almost like a digital revolution happening in India. The future is arriving far more faster than which we have thought, post-COVID especially, I would say. Smart and green are new norms. A lot of work happening on eco-friendly, sustainable, recycled way of working, circular way of working in India. One of our warehouses is actually going net zero very soon. So earlier these concepts were alien to us as manufacturers, but now we are very sensitive about environment, sustainability, and that's also something will make the Indian manufacturing sector very strong, food sector very strong. New markets are being really evaded very fast. E-commerce being trending big time, which we never thought will influence food purchases, but now it is changing it very fast. So speed is a new mantra for food tech, and they are capitalizing on that. And the last but not the least is we need to really understand whether Indian industries are leading the market or they are market leaders by really adopting these things in their ecosystem. Empowered customer, to me most important, is the future of our strategy as Indian industry. And global is now new local, and invest in digital because it is influencing business at large in all spectrum and perspective. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, Ajay ji, and Mr. Bernd Andersson. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my views on where Indian food technology and food industry is actually driving itself. And I'm looking forward for India to be a global food supplier soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chordia, for your wonderful presentation. And we will quickly move to another speaker in the land of agriculture segment in India. And as you know, people in India prefers fresh produce on their plates. One such company is making it possible to food available from farm to plate within 16 hours. I would request Mr. Pradeep, PS, founder and CEO, Farmers Zone, tell us more on the topic. Over to you, Mr. Pradeep.
Hi everyone, good morning. Myself Pradeep, founder and CEO of Farmers Zone. So just a few thoughts. So it's like in the 21st century, how many of us really confident that what we are eating, that's the right food or the good food or it's a safe food? I think most of the cases, the answer would be maybe or I don't know. So actually it's like people are now more conscious about what they eat, what they wear, but their consciousness towards what they consume is not up to the mark, but it's slowly it's picking up, especially after the COVID time. So people are now turning more conscious about what they consume. So according to World Health Organization, a human should consume more than 450 grams of fruits and vegetables every day. If you are looking at the global supply chain, or if you are deep diving into India, in the fruits and vegetable sector, actually it's facing a lot of challenges. The challenges that starting from the producers, how much struggle they are putting towards producing that, whether they are getting the right return or not. That's the one question. And at the consumer side, consumers are sometimes ready to pay some premium, but whether they are getting value for the money or they are getting the safe produce, that's the question. So food safety, that's a primary question that I would like to ask and start the presentation. So especially in India, if you're looking at because here we don't have too much highly infrastructure for the material movement and all other stuff. So so there is a problem. So what's the problem? The problem is that the farm to fork supply chain, that's actually broken. And not only broken, there is not having a integrated data from the farm. Actually, it's how it's moving from the farm. It's moving to a trader, then to a bigger market, then to a much more bigger market, and then from there it's going to a smaller market, then to a shop or a online something, and then to the customer. So this is the flow happens. So it takes in India, according to the data, it's like it takes average food mileage, that's from the production to the customer, is around 700 kilometer plus. If you are looking at the states like Kerala, it is more than 1,700 kilometer. Okay, so so that's showing that it's like sometimes fresh produce also is taking more than 2 days or 2.5 days to reach the consumers. In the developed countries, maybe it's coming through the ship and other thing, but there also it's like a lot of challenge. So how actually a consumer can be able to ensure that what he is consuming, that's the right produce, that's not having any kind of harmful chemicals, and that's harvested in that particular date, and that's in the right supply chain, in a hygienic supply chain, it's come to you. So that's our right. Every human has a right to live and right to have good food, right? So why actually is not we are able to achieve? Okay, how we can be able to achieve? So that problem we are solving here. So we have created a full stack model in the farm to fork supply chain. So that entire model is having 4 verticals. So we are starting with the pre-production part, and we have a production part, and we have a warehouse and supply chain, and then the e-commerce with the distribution. In the pre-production part, what's happening is that we have an AI system. So we take all the data of the consumer behavior. If any system or any online website or anything which is actually operated more than 1 year, there is a set of data. So based on that, we can predict what should be the after 3 months demand for each produce, especially for the fresh produce like fruits and vegetables. Okay, so these data, these forecasted data, we can be able to transfer to the farmers. And in the farmers, actually, there is a production planning engine. Since our system is having a lot of farmers information, like how much area of land actually they are owning, okay, and what is their past farming experience, okay, what are the fertilizer pesticides they use, all the stuff. So based on that, there is a demand map actually happens between the demand and the production capabilities. So after that, we allocate the farmers on what they have to. Ajay, back one slide back. Yeah. So after that, actually, we allocate what farmer to cultivate what item, and once actually they are entering into system, we have a system to capture all the data, what the work they are doing in the farm, and we have an inspection module, audit module, all the stuff is there. And once actually this produce is ready, it's collecting through our collection centers, and from the collection centers, single farmer, single item is taken only a single crate. So we ensure that there is no mixing of the items is happening. From that, actually, it's moving to the distribution center, and from there, it's moving to the end customer. So when it reaches to the end customer, for an end customer, when they scan a single QR code. So for example, in our system, we may be purchasing tomato from 10 different farmers, but it's coming. But when it's actually coming to us end customer, he order only half kg of tomato, right? If he is scanning that QR code, he can be able to know that from which individual farmer is come, when it's actually seeding is actually done, what are the fertilizer it's used, what are the pesticides it's used. So all the data will be there. Along with that, how much kilometers traveled, a lot of information. So this integrated data that helps in reducing the wastage, okay, and getting higher income for the farmers, and creating a trust, and also helping the consumer to stay safe. And also this system helps to reduce the carbon emission. Okay, so this model actually is a replicatable model. It can be replicated in across the globe, because we also having the e-commerce module that's also easily replicatable everywhere. So for a customer, he can feel proud that he is actually supporting a farmer and he is having a right food. So that is the technology that we are having, and we are also operating. We are actually piloting with that technology, and we are now serving around 3 lakhs plus customers in India. Yeah, next slide. So this is actually an example of how our technology or how this entire technology or the business can be able to use, or how it's actually happened. It actually connect all the all the contributors of a agri supply chain. That can be farmers, business, any B2B business, any distribution business, and it's connect the input suppliers, third party logistics suppliers. So everything will be our technology can be able to help to integrate all the parties in a single platform, and it's having a lot of cost advantage. And if somebody have to start a farm to fork model in Austria, they can actually take it, and within a month of time they can be able to launch that with all the traceability and including all the verticals. So that kind of a modular structure actually we are actually able to build over here. And in India, if you are looking at the health consciousness or people awareness towards the food actually is increasing. Not only in India, if you are looking at the global level, the organic and such kind of a master words are catching more attention. Yeah, Ajay. So these are some of the areas actually in our system. It's handling the farm management, sales and service modules, reports and intelligence, inventory management and logistics and transportation. All the supports actually it's able to provide. Yeah. So actually this system is created with a strong team with more than 35 years of agriculture experience and 50 years plus experience in the technology. So this is our ultimate goal of creating the technology, is to help any area where the core concept is like local production for the local consumption. How we can be able to create a community where loyal producers produce right quality produce for the right set of the consumers, and the food carbon emission and all the stuff we can be able to reduce. So that's the overall model. So we have advisors like who's the HR head of Big Basket, Mr. T.N. Hari, was an investor as well, Mr. Nagaraja Prakasham, and a lot of such eminent personality also behind the this initiative of farmers person. And so we have created a technology called unit level traceability. You all maybe heard about traceability, that Answer also mentioned about the traceability. So the unit level traceability is nothing but how we can be able to trace each and every single unit. So as I earlier mentioned, for a half kg of tomato, how we can be able to uniquely identify. So that's the technology actually we have developed in our in-house. So that we planning that it can be able to switch into any of the supply chain in the later time. So we have created a small video on that. So Ajay, can you show that?
Sure. I'll be happy to play it.
Food safety is a critical concern, and people are becoming increasingly aware of what they consume. However, the issue of perishable products remains unsolved. On the other hand, new food habits such as salads and raw consumption are on the rise.
At Farmers Fresh Zone, we have developed unit-level traceability technology that allows us to track every activity on the farm, from soil preparation to harvest. Each data point is tracked and stored, ensuring complete transparency. After the harvest, sorted produce is sent to the collection center, and inventory is added against each farmer. This process ensures that items are not mixed, and each crate is labeled and transported to distribution centers as part of unit-level traceability. In the distribution center, bulk quantities are split into smaller quantities as per customer orders, and a newly generated QR code is affixed to every packet. Customers can scan these codes to see the different growth stages of the crop, its usage of pesticides and fertilizers, and the distance traveled and time taken from harvest to customer, along with carbon emission-related data.
At Farmers Fresh Zone, we believe that consuming healthy food is a right, and it is our responsibility to ensure that you get the right produce. With our unit-level traceability technology, you can be confident that you are consuming safe and healthy food.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pradeep, for your wonderful presentation. Happy to have you today. I would like to remind our audience to ask your questions via the chat function. At the end of the presentation, I will read questions as they are asked to the respective presenter. And now from agri-tech to robotics. Yes, one startup in India is making sure you can taste the exact food without having to make it completely. Let us welcome Mr. Subrahmanyam K, co-founder Buchuk. Over to you, Mr. Subrahmanyam.
Yeah, thank you, Ajay. Good afternoon, India, and good morning to Austria. I'm excited to meet you all online. And I've been listening to Anand Garu and Pradeep Garu's presentation. It was very interesting, and they're doing great work. So my name is Subrahmanyam. I'm co-founder for Buchuk. Buchuk is an automatic food cooking robot. Yeah. So it can make recipes for you. It's basically an induction-based machine where you can make your own recipes. We just need to fill up the fresh vegetables or chopped vegetables. It's going to take care of all the other ingredients like water, oil, other spices when is required according to your taste. For example, you have your own taste preferences. I do have my own taste preferences. So the machine will take care of taste preference according to your taste. So I just, instead of talking too much, I'll just quickly run through a video so that we can talk further. Ajay, could you please play the video? So it's a cooking machine. So where, if you see any household kitchens, so the technology is, all over the world, like everybody's talking about induction stoves. And then if you see in a kitchen, there is a mixer, there is a grinder. And if you see in a kitchen, there is a micro oven or air fryer. And then where is the next innovation? So there is definitely a scope for, us to move forward to the next step, like where we can actually make a recipe according to user's taste. So all you have to do is you need to place chopped vegetables according to your recipe, and then there is a downloadable version of recipes available in the marketplace where you can simply download your own recipe, or even you can make your own recipes also in the machine by simply drag and drop mechanism or through a mobile app or website. So what is that drives us to move to the innovation means, see, if you take any individual house, if both are working or individual working, they spend a lot of time on cooking, basically from cleaning, shopping, and sitting there for so much of time until the recipe is prepared. So, and again, it's very tedious job and time consuming. Eating outside also not possible every day. People, many countries used to cook for one day and they'll just store it in a freezer and then eat for a week. So all these are problems that driven us to innovate this new technology, and we are very glad that we are in this domain and serving people. Yeah. So coming to the machine, what it can do, first thing is it's an induction based machine. It's having one pot recipe. We need to place a bowl on the machine, in the machine, and then place all the required content, fill with the contents with the required vegetables, and that's it. You can set up your own preferences. Take a mobile app and then set up like you want to cook the recipe with less oily and more chili. With machine is going to prepare recipe according to your taste. That's an amazing feature. And if you want to add recipes, you can simply download it, and the machine is auto cleanable. After the machine can actually clean itself. There is a special cycle for basic cleaning. It can actually clean itself You can even make recipes and sell others. For example, you have your own recipe and you can upload the recipe to online, and people who wants to try new recipes or recipes created by you can download those recipes and try. And but the recipe creator also get some, a few bucks after downloading, and people can also rate you. It's a community build where everybody can share recipes, through the device, through online. It's a next level of experience. How we are generating recipes. There is a recipe database available with our website, and even we can generate recipes through YouTube, where or through intelligence algorithms. The recipe can be prepared with a drag and drop placements. So there is an AI builder for us. If you ask the builder to make your own recipes, it's basically having, the machine is basically having a setup for solid ingredients or vegetables, and a setup for cooking area, and another setup for spices and liquids. So it's a combination of all with respect to temperature and the recipe type. It's a combination of all. So any other recipe or any recipe which falls under these categories can be prepared with the machine. Whether it's Indian, Chinese, European recipe, we can prepare these things, or we can even add your own stuff. Yeah, this is one of example where the artificial intelligence algorithm will capture recipes and make own recipe instead of you creating the recipe by coding, or you creating the recipe with the drag and drop mechanism. If you just give a page link to the recipe, the artificial algorithm actually makes a recipe file for you. You can actually cook and modify it. That's how we are making progress to the next level. So the target market we basically focusing on all over the world, but majorly we are into the one pot meals, where we have different interests through online surveys. So these are all our interests, and currently the machine can make few of these recipes, especially Indian recipes, because Indian cuisine is very different. We have lots of spices. Region to region the recipe will change. So now we are majorly concentrating on our first part, and we have done our vegetable and non-vegetarian recipes. Currently, we are doing our pre-compliance certification testings. Soon we'll be hitting all the global markets with these are our patents and trademarks. We are currently progressing with our pre-compliance testings. And how are we doing? How are we going to market means we are inviting all the users to our office, and we are asking them to taste our recipes. We are going to events, and the people are coming to us, taste the food, and they're rating us. They are telling all the recipes they need or the changes they need. So we are currently having 500 orders for mission, and soon we'll complete all those. And current stages, we have done our pilot tests, and we got our patents, and we got published at TVs and magazines. We can see YouTube, we can see our website for all the details. So coming to the price of the product, our target price is actually around $500. And people who can also make recipes can earn from this. For example, if I have a machine, take a B2C segment like individual home can actually make their own recipe, or take a restaurant, they can simply need not to depend on chef. Anybody can prepare a recipe if the machine is fed with the recipe. So anyone with the basic knowledge can fill up the machine with the correct amount of solid ingredients. All the extra spices, timings, temperature, humidity, all other factors can be moderated and managed by the machine. And restaurants can also be a great partnership for us. So the first market we are trying to do with the right to customer with our online sales, and after that we'll be doing with our distribution channels. Thank you.
Subrahmanyam. Yeah,
thank you for inviting Ajay and also Andersson. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Subrahmanyam. Wonderful presentation. I would quickly call upon all the speakers to turn on your camera and microphone. Thank you. So let's just jump to the question, and the question in the room is, what is the food tech in India and the future? I would like to ask Mr. Chordia about the future innovation part of it. That's part A of the question, and part B, the opportunities with your company, Austrian startups or companies can expect. So what do you think about the future of food tech in India and also the opportunities for Austrian companies with your company?
As I in fact had done my presentation around where the scope for Indian manufacturers is and where the technology is heading in India. And naturally, we as a country can become a large food suppliers of high quality ingredients which have functional, nutraceutical, health values, which are grown in a controlled way. The second presentation which was done was around work with farmers happening in India now, and how digitalization is helping the control on the quality, which was done by Pradeep ji there. And what I personally feel is countries like Austria, where there is so much of innovation taking place, has happened. I have been there multiple times, and it's a great country. Innovation not only many other sectors happening in Austria. I recently also learned about Honorable Gadkari ji's visit happened to Austria some time back, and lot of technology transfers possibilities is happening between both the countries. In food sector, if you ask me, for Austria, India is very big, lucrative market to come into. One main thing for all the manufacturers in Austria, which they should always think that India is a great place for them also to set up a manufacturing base, as many companies from many countries is doing. For that matter, Ferrero Rochers have also started their manufacturing in India, and many other companies. And India is a very good place and a base for setting up manufacturing units for engineering goods and also food products both. So food engineering companies also can come here. The cost which they can build here will allow them to penetrate Indian market in far better way, and also will allow Indian companies to use the technologies at better price as well. So I personally welcome all the Austrian food industries to come to India, and the best way to do that is actually they coming and visiting our expos. There are many exhibitions happening throughout the year. We have World Food India happening, which is done by Ministry of Food Processing this year in November. These are the places where they should come, understand Indian ecosystem, and there is abundance potential of growth. Thank you so much.
Sure, Mr. Wonderful observation. What do you think, Mr. Pradeep, about the future of food tech in India? You already explained in your presentation that's very futuristic. What is your thought on the future and trends in technology? Also, the opportunities for Austrian companies with your company, especially in India. Over to you.
Okay. So I think especially the food. If whatever the COVID or anything happens, food demand remains the same. So that's the importance of this food sector. And as rightly mentioned, we are all in the same sector. And if you are looking at the people awareness, as I mentioned, it's like people are now more conscious about what they eat. And it's like moving forward, that's what actually blockchain and a lot of technology is also coming into the place. And the traceability will be a unavoidable things for any food business. So to provide the authentic traceability, they have to have some kind of farm to fork models. Okay, so these kind of integrations that can be done not only in the fresh produce, that can be done any kind of processed produce as well. Okay, so so that's what actually I'm saying, that it's like there is an immense potential for those kind of food produce, those which is actually we can be able to claim that is differentiated from other foods. That can be in terms of its quality or safety, or maybe organic, or multiple things actually we can be able to claim. So such kind of produce that's on the rise, and let's build the technology for upcoming food trend. That's what actually we are doing. And the collaboration that we can see with the Austria company is that we have built a strong technology in the farm to fork, that's having all the modules are built in. It can be able to plant it anywhere. So now we are extending it to US and Saudi Arabia. So anybody wanted to collaborate with us, we can give the software as a trial for them, and they can be able to start the business very easily and become an advocate of good food culture. So that's the offering that I can be able to give to Austria community.
Very much.
Ajay, one thing I want to just mention here, that as a company, we are exporting to Austria for last 8 years. And this in Austria is growing. So Indian traditional products are also very liked by many Austrian companies and customers there. So we are doing B2C work there and also B2B work, supplies.
Okay, that's interesting that you are already working with Austria, many companies, many products, and there is a huge possibility of demand and supply both sides. Mr. Subrahmanyam, what do you think? Your company already is into futuristic technologies, which we wanted to show today. What do you think you can offer to Austrian companies and maybe corporates?
Yeah, thank you, Ajay. So coming to a product like robotics, there is definitely a need for collaboration in different countries, because the product is very easy to ship. It's a business model that actually triggers relationship between countries, which erases all the boundaries. So which we can actually automate those localized recipes according to suits the country needs, because the automation in which artificial intelligence makes everything simplified version, and where we need not to worry about too much of complication. So this actually which makes us to open new doors. It's a win-win situation for both of us, I can say.
Yeah, I see a good recipe, with the future, and all the speakers, make some Austrian dish procured by sustainable farming, added some spices, and cooked by a robot. Would be interesting to see next time. With that, I would like to call upon my Deputy Trade Commissioner, Mr. Bernd Andersson, to conclude the webinar. Thank you, all the speakers. Thank you. Have a great day.
So thanks a lot, Ajay, for moderating the session, and of course, a great big thank you to the three eminent speakers we've had. The three presentations gave a very insightful, and I'm sure our audience could take a lot away from them. I'm sure you will be available for further questions should they come up after the webinar, and possibly even better for potential corporations. Just a quick heads up what is coming in the near future from our side. We're planning a somewhat big, interesting startup delegation from India going to Austria to participate in Vienna Up, that will take place in the beginning of June. We're also planning to have a webinar coming soon as on the topic of Sri Lanka, to see what is happening there, and of course our continuing series with the future of, so some insightful webinars on a given sector, and the innovation potential there from India is also going to take place then in June, and the topic there is going to be the future of IT, IoT, and ITES. That's it from our side. Many thanks for your participation. We look forward to seeing you again and hearing from you should any questions come up, or if or you let us know in what way we can support you best. In that sense, all the best. Have a great day here from New Delhi, and until next time.